Whoa! What's up, diggity dogs? I just made a mess in the other room. High five!
You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another DVD collection update. To start off today, we have one of the Monty Python prototypes, which is At Last, the 1948 show, which had Graham Chapman and John Cleese in it. Now, don't let the title fool you. It didn't come out in 1948. It was actually from 1962. At Last, the 1948 show is just the title. Most of this show was actually lost. They did recover the audio of it, and you can listen to it online if you have BritBox. But there's 5 episodes included here. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, these are actually 5, highlight specials that were made for Swedish TV. So that's what was included on here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's how they ended up doing the DVD release. Now, there was another one called Do Not Adjust Your Set. I don't currently own that one, but I do plan to get it. As you can see, they have an ad for Do Not Adjust Your Set in this as well. Do Not Adjust Your Set had Eric Idle, Michael Palin, and Terry Jones in it. So, it, was another prototype, and the two together, basically you get Monty Python, right? It comes with this comedy show family tree that, links up a bunch of the stuff from the 1948 show and Do Not Adjust Your Set. But it has a bunch of shows listed. You got Flying Circus, you got Fawlty Towers, you got Spam-A-Lot. You got a lot in here, so I'm not going to look at the whole thing all day. But there's disc 1, and it's upside down. Isn't that something? There we go. Now it's good. And there we have disc 2. I've watched one of the episodes on this set already. It was pretty funny. Out of the sketches, I would say one of them was fantastic. Well, 2 of them were fantastic, actually. One of them was one that was done better in Flying Circus. And then, for the most part, it was good. I'm not the biggest fan of Amy McDonald yet. I'm hoping she gets more than one joke as the show goes on. Because so far in the first episode, all I've seen is the ongoing joke that she has an ego and is really full of herself. And I really don't find that particularly funny. But I think my favorite sketch so far was the psychiatrist or psychologist sketch where John Cleese plays a therapist that's an asshole to his clients. I also really like the spy one. So, I liked a lot of this. The 4 Yorkshiremen, again, I think they did better in Flying Circus, but I think overall it was a good episode that I've seen so far, and I'm hoping I'll like the other 4 as well, and I'm sure I will. And speaking of Monty Python prototypes, here we have How to Irritate People, which has John Cleese in it, and it's also got Michael Palin, Graham Chapman, and Terry Booth, so, and again, another prototype to Monty Python. I have yet to watch this. The DVD only has a 65-minute runtime. I'm not sure if this was a TV special or a movie or what, but here it is. But there's the disc itself and the insert. And there's the back of the insert. Next up we have the Tommy Wiseau or Tommy Wiseau. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the name of this show, but it's a show that has Tommy Wiseau playing video games because he got abducted by aliens and they make him play games. It was on Machinima's YouTube channel back when Machinima was a thing, and it was pretty fun. It also includes The House That Dripped Blood on Alex. I've never seen that, but I've been wanting to, and I used pictures of it in my April Fool's video. And as you can see, this does say Season 1, but it is in fact the only season. They intended for there to be more, but it got cancelled. Next up, we have the original George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, which was actually George A. Romero's second zombie movie. And it was a sequel to The Night of the Living Dead from 1968. This one itself, of course, being from 1978. Now, I've never seen the original Dawn of the Dead before, however, I have seen the remake from the 2000s. I think it was 2004 or 2005, something like that. So I look forward to watching this one. Next up, we have the Undertale Collector's Edition soundtrack. Since I bought the game on PS4, figured I might as well buy the soundtrack too. I really like the soundtrack to this game, and I've got way more into it than I expected to. But yeah, this is a great game, and I love the soundtrack to it. But we got Sans there, we got Undyne on the piano, we got the annoying dog in the trumpet, or trombone, whatever that is. Mediton there, we got Shiren, and then we got Toriel. Then we got Nabstablook, Alphys, and Papyrus on the back. And there's that rock, I think, from the intro, where Sans says, I believe that's called a rock. When Papyrus asks, is that a human? And he's like, no, I believe that's called a rock. As you can see, this soundtrack is a 2-disc set. And as you can see, we've got a colored version inside the case of the actual case art, so that's pretty cool. It also comes with this booklet that tells you all of the tracks. There's the back of that. It's also got some backstory and information behind some of the tracks that were on the soundtrack, so that's pretty cool. So that gives it another reason to have. Next up, we have The Last Horror Movie, not to be confused with The Last Horror Film. Those are 2 completely different movies. But the last horror movie is a found footage film that I found out about through The Maniac, who, shout out to him, is a great YouTuber. He does a lot of horror movie reviews, but he said this was his favorite found footage film, so I thought I had to check it out. Basically, the plot is this serial killer has taped over the video you rented from the video store, and has taped over it with a documentary of him killing people. As you can see, this is actually a screening copy, which is also evident on the disc here. Very enjoyable movie. Maybe I'll do a review of it in the future. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Next up, we have 4 film favorites Batman collection, so it's a Batman 4-pack. As you can see, it contains Batman, Batman Forever, Batman Returns, and Batman and Robin. I mainly bought it for Batman and Robin because, in my opinion, that's one of those so bad it's good movies. I absolutely love it. It's a bunch of dumb fun, and it has Arnold Schwarzenegger say a bunch of ice puns. And this movie was actually my introduction to Batman was Batman and Robin. As you can see, they are flipper discs, which, as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of, but hey, whatever, it gets the job done. Next up, we have Endgame, which is another Alex Jones documentary. From what I understand, it's like one of his most popular ones. So, of course, I had to get that, given that I had some of his others. There's the disc itself. Next up, we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I thought this was a pretty good movie. I definitely think it did a really interesting job at implementing the stories from the books. I have some mixed feelings about some stuff towards the end, but overall I thought it was a good movie. And there's the disc itself. Next up we have Richard Jewell, which is a Clint Eastwood-directed movie, and it's based on a true story. It's about a guy who discovers a bomb, but then gets blamed for being the one who planted it. Yeah, Richard Jewell was a very controversial thing that happened, because again, it was a guy that was basically a hero, saved quite a few lives by finding a bomb, and ultimately got blamed for it, because some people still did die, and they thought that he did it. There's a digital copy of it for whoever wants to take it, but there's the disc itself. To end off with today, we have Bart Kira, which is a manga that was done by fans of Akira and The Simpsons, combining the two together to get Bart Kira. I think overall that's a fascinating concept, but what's even more fascinating is how well it works. It was clearly a collaborative effort, though, because there's various art styles, but essentially it tells the same story as Akira, but with Bart as Kaneda and Milhouse as Tetsuo. And then Ralph is Akira himself, which I don't know a whole lot about Akira as a character because he was very, enigmatic in the movie. You don't know a whole lot about him. And I've never read the Akira manga. I've only seen the movie. Anyway, that does it for this collection update. This has been Fugitive Red Eye. You have a good one. Toodles.
May he burn in hell forever in the high noon sun of Christ.
I'm gonna fucking die here, Jack!
Nagumo, wait. What about your parents?
Don't worry. They're at a funeral.